We're going to be talking today about graphing quadratic functions that are written in standard form, which is more typical along these lines, x squared minus 6x plus 5. Just like in the quadratic formula, a is equal to 1, b is negative 6, and c is 5. We're going to find the axis of symmetry first by using this formula. X is equal to negative b over 2a. So you need to have that memorized. It makes it a little bit easy. This is the front of the quadratic formula without the radical part of it over here. It's the front of it. So this will give us the axis of symmetry. So for this particular problem, since b is negative 6, the opposite of that will be a positive 6. And then 2 times a would be 2 times 1, which is 2. So the axis of symmetry then is x is equal to 3. And in our graph down here, it would look like this. It's a vertical line going through 3. Now we know our vertex falls along that line, so it's always going to have the same x value. So our vertex is going to have an x value of 3, just like the axis. And then we need to calculate what the y value is by doing f of 3. And we're going to take our 3, plug it back in up here, and get 3 to the second minus 6 times 3 plus 5. So that's 9 minus 18 plus 5. So negative 9 plus 5 is negative 4. So the y value is going to be negative 4 of our vertex. So we'll put that on our graph as well. So that's 3, 1, 2, 3, negative 4 right here. All right, so now we need a few more points in order to graph our parabola to get the right shape of it. An easy one always is to do the y-intercept where x is 0. So we're going to have the point 0 something, and then we're going to calculate what f of 0 is. And when we put that in up here, we're going to get 0 squared minus 6 times 0, and then plus 5. And so that comes out to be 5. So our y-intercept is 0, 5, and we will graph it. So we have 0, 5, which is this point right here. Now we can use symmetry to find a point on the other side of the axis, because remember, it's the axis of symmetry. So this is going to go over 3 to the left, then 3 to the right, and we'll get this point right there. All right, so we're starting to kind of get the shape. Just to make sure that we have it right, we want to plug, we want to plot maybe a point that's closer to the vertex here. So maybe let's plug in 2 and figure out what we're going to get. So we just chose that. We chose it because it was close. I could have chosen a 4, a 1, or a 3, just something in here in the middle where we can have an idea of what the shape will look like. So let's figure out what f of 2 is. So that's going to be 2 squared minus 6 times 2 plus 5. So 4 minus 12 plus 5. Negative 8 plus 5 is negative 3. And so we get the point 2, negative 3. So 2, 1, 2, 3, which is right here. And again, use that symmetry to get the point on the other side of the axis. So now we can connect all of our points with a smooth curve. All right, so now let's repeat those steps for example 1. So we'll want to find first the axis of symmetry. So we'll need to know what the a and the b is. So a appears to be negative 1, and b is negative 4. So x is equal to the opposite of b, so that's 4 over 2 times a, so that's negative 2. So then x is equal to negative 2. So our axis of symmetry then is x is equal to negative 2. And I will graph that and show our axis here with a dotted line. All right, so we know then that in our vertex, we're going to have negative 2 for our x value. And then we need to figure out what y is. So we're going to do f of negative 2, and we're going to plug it in to our equation. So remember that this is not negative x. This is a negative 1 times x squared. So we're going to have a negative times the negative 2 squared minus 4 times negative 2. So square it first, I get a 4, and this makes it negative 4 plus 8, which is going to be 4. So our vertex then is negative 2 and 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll plot that point. All right, so now we're ready to do the y-intercept. So the y-intercept has a y for the x, has a 0 for the x value. So we'll calculate f of 0, and that's going to give us, well, 0 squared minus 0, so this is actually just 0. That's pretty easy to do, the y-intercept. So the 0, 0, which is going to be here. We're going to use our symmetry, so go left 2, there's right 2, so left 2. And then we can figure out another point to graph. So the negatives are always hard, and these are all negatives in here. So if we were to do the point negative 1, I'm going to have f of negative 1, which is going to be a negative of negative 1 squared minus 4 times negative 1. So that's 1. That's negative 1 plus 4, which is 3. So I have the point negative 1, 3, and then symmetry to get the other one. So we can sketch our graph. All right, so at this point, you're ready to try this next one and then pick up at the next video.